Let's get sweaty.
Hey guys, welcome to a Shenmue Dojo News Digest video. We're coming off the back of the Game Awards, and while Shenmue 4 wasn't announced, Sega stole the show. 5 of their legacy IPs are coming back. Now, we don't know when they're coming back, but I would presume late 24, early 25. But I am absolutely stoked for some of these. Dreamcast classics, Mega Drive classics. They are reaching out for these, and I could not be happier. So, the games that were announced last night at the Games Award, in no particular order: Jet Set Radio, long time coming, guys. Crazy Taxi is coming back. Dreamcast staple, play it if you haven't. Streets of Rage is going 3D. Now, that isn't a surprise because Streets of Rage sold brilliantly. Streets of Rage 4 sold absolutely brilliantly. It's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. And then 2 what I call probably more left field are Shinobi, which is getting like a 2D side-scroller type game, and also Golden Axe as well. Again, 2 sort of real legacy IPs that probably haven't been seen since the PlayStation 2 days. I'm excited for those. Not quite sure where that demand has come from, but Sega have obviously done their homework here. But while I'm not going to sit too much on analysing these games, I want to look at why this can help Shenmue and what we can do about it, given what this new attitude of Sega seems to be. And I'm really, really, really excited about it. So the way I see this is that Sega have found themselves a way to bring back these legacy IP in a sensible, business-like manner, which is obviously in their view going to make them money, but also give the fan base what they want and show they are listening. Going through these titles, I mean, Crazy Taxi sold really, really well on Dreamcast, and when it moved over to multi-platform, sold really well again. It's pretty much a no-brainer. Streets of Rage, as I said, no-brainer. The ones that are probably a bit more iffy, I guess is the word to use, is Jet Set Radio, which I'll come on to in a minute, despite the demand, Shinobi and Golden Axe. Shinobi and Golden Axe are legacy IP, going back to the Master System, even Mega Drive days, way back when I was a kid. They've not been seen for a long, long time. I don't know, as I said, where the demand for this has come from, and they've obviously thought out a budget which would meet their perceived demand for these games, and have elected to make them, which is fantastic for the both franchises essentially. But hold that point. Jet Set Radio has been demanded for years, and I first and foremost want to say congratulations to the Jet Set Radio community. You've been asking this for a long time, and if anybody knows how you feel, we do. So there you are, well done and congratulations, because I will be playing that along with Crazy Taxi and Streets of Rage, and probably all of them quite frankly. But my point being made here is that Jet Set Radio, while it is a fantastic series, I'd argue it's probably more niche than Shenmue. So while obviously Shenmue is a continuation series and there's a certain perception that you have to have played the other games in order to get it, other sort of media perception around it, I can sort of see that argument. But I think in terms of brand recognisability and all the rest of it, Shenmue has more recognition. It comes down to the cost. Can Sega, or will Sega, come to a conclusion that maybe they could work with YSNET or help YSNET, whatever, to make a viable Shenmue product with a budget to suit it that they think is from a market viability standpoint correct. That's the challenge. Sega could easily bring it back home if they wanted to. Let's be brutally honest about it. And I'm glad they've gone down this route of legacy IP because it shows they're listening. So that means there's an opportunity here for Shenmue fans, which I'm going to come on to in a minute. But Sega can bring this home. They could use RGG. They could link with YSNET. They could potentially support YSNET. They have economies of scale in terms of the fact they are a much bigger studio. They have better equipment, more technologically advanced equipment. They could make a damn good Shenmue game, probably for less money based on the economies of scale that they have than YSNET could. So they would need to factor that in potentially. If it obviously was taken in-house by Sega or whatever, for me, Yu Suzuki would need to be a part of that, be it as executive producer, creator, whatever. He would need to be a part of it as it's his baby and he is the creator of this. balancing the argument, I guess, and sort of looking at it before I look onto how we can take advantage of this situation, people would argue that Shenmue's had its share of opportunities, and to a point I would struggle to argue with you. I mean, obviously we had the Kickstarter in 2015, which was rip-roaring success generally. Shenmue 3 obviously did come out. It did financially fine, but I suspect didn't hit the sales numbers that they would have liked, because had it have done, I suspect very much like the Streets of Rage franchise, it may well have been included in these games that have been announced, so who knows. The anime was fantastic and through no fault of its own was cancelled, but that was another attempt at pushing things forward, getting more people involved, I guess. The re-releases in 2018, again, are another example of it, and they sold quite well. But I believe, despite all of that, and I take those points to heart, I think a sensible way forward can be found for Sega, YSNET, and everybody to get Shenmue either finished, revived in terms of starting again, Shenmue 0, whatever, in a satisfactory manner that Yu Suzuki would be happy with, I would be happy with as a fan, and the community would be happy with as a wider community bunch. So, this comes on to how are we going to get this thing done? How are we going to make Sega listen? Now, you would have seen the video I did on Wednesday with talking about Cedric and the tweet he put out. And it's broadly the same, quite frankly. But I'm going to sort of go into some very specifics here. So any posts around Sega, the new year, new era, new energy thing, tweet about Shenmue, hashtag Shenmue 4, let's get Shenmue 4, hashtag Shenmue 0. Now, why Shenmue 4? Well, it's the next thing in the franchise. There is also the possibility within this, in my mind, and this has come, I think, from Peter Wilson in the Discord, mentioned that actually, looking at what Yu Suzuki said about Shenmue 4, that he wants to have playable flashbacks, you could in theory do a rebrand of Shenmue, call the new game Shenmue, like Shenmue 2025, because I'm just pulling a number out of thin air here, and you won't need to have played the other games, because the flashbacks and the story filler that you would need would be incorporated within the game, and then you could progress it from there, theoretically, which then means you have potentially the option of finishing it in one game, going all over the old story within it, and then coming to that big ending, whatever that might be, or you set it up for a fifth and final game, or theoretically second game, depending on the point of view you go for. So that could easily work. So that's why you need to be hounding Sega, and I mean hounding them politely, but hounding them, going with the hashtag Shenmue 4, etc, etc. They will all be in the description below, guys, so you can copy and paste them in as you like. The next one is Shenmue 0. Now, I didn't come up with this idea. This was one that came from Shenmue Forever, and I'm going to be pulling this up on the screen for you right now. But, quite frankly, it bears the same relevance for me, and it's taking a bloody age. Here we go. Right, there we are. And it will be on the screen now for you. So, Yu Suzuki has talked about making a Shenmue 0. Now, in some arguments and respects, that could easily fit with this sort of idea of new era, new energy stuff. Essentially revisiting an old franchise, but breathing new life into it. And what better way to do that than a Shenmue 0? Suzuki wants to do it. I think while the community might be ever so slightly divided on it, potentially, it certainly fits the brief. So you could make that argument, again, that it could work. What do I think? I want all of it, quite frankly. I am greedy and I want all of it. I'm a realist, we don't know. But you've got two sort of avenues here, as I said. Number one is you use the Shenmue 4 idea, put in the playable flashbacks as Yu Suzuki has talked about within his interviews recently with Ezra, and essentially start it again from that point, fill in the gaps, and then you've got a game or two games to finish it off. Or flip it, and you've got the Shenmue 0 idea as well, which definitely fits that new era, new energy thing that Sega really seem to be pushing. Now, in this announcement, they made it very clear that these aren't the 5 only IP that they are going to be pushing or producing. So it made it very clear, and more at the bottom of this thing. Well, for me, that's an open goal. Like, they are inviting us to make some bloody noise. So let's make some bloody noise. Get out there on social media. Let Sega know you want Shenmue included in this new way of thinking. And let's push for this. This is a real opportunity for the franchise to be taken back home by Sega. And judging on the franchises they've revived already, I can't wait for what's to come. And I hope all of these games do fantastically well because they deserve to. They are quality games. They're part of our childhoods for most of us. And hopefully they can draw in new people to these franchises and people see the legacy that they left behind. Guys, what do you think? Drop us a comment below. Let me know what you think about this idea. Could it work? Are there other ways around it? Below as well will be all the tweets that are out so far. Make sure you make your opinion known about the Shenmue series. Copy and paste it in. Copy and paste the hashtags. Use them as much as you can. Do not stop. Keep pushing. And this goes outside of the tweetathons. Keep pushing and we will get a continuation to this franchise one way or the other, be it in-house through Sega or a combined project. But for now, guys, thank you for listening to me rattle on again. Have yourselves a cracking weekend, and I will be back with a video not too far from now. Quick shout out to our members, guys. Thank you for donating to the dojo and keeping things working. So Nova, Bruce Wayne 911, Mike Franz, Manny Figueroa, Master Mo, Nick Hughes, Sean Hastings, Clunky Mage, William Lovering, thank you for being members of the dojo. If you want to join, click the link below, guys, and see what benefits you get, including getting all the videos that I make ahead of time, which, what's better than that, guys? Have a good one.